Episode 1: Game of Thrones. The series kicks off with a mysterious mastermind, the Professor, who gathers a group of 8 criminals with unique skills for a seemingly impossible task: robbing the Royal Mint of Spain. The group, each named after a city, includes Tokyo, Berlin, Moscow, Denver, Nairobi, Rio, Helsinki, and Oslo. They begin by infiltrating the Royal Mint, taking hostages, and setting the stage for a high-stakes heist. As the heist progresses, the tension rises inside the mint as the robbers and hostages interact. Outside, law enforcement begins to close in, led by Inspector Raquel Murillo, who starts piecing together clues about the robbers' identities. The Professor orchestrates everything from behind the scenes, manipulating events with precision. By the end of the episode, it's clear the stakes are high, and the robbers' plans are already in jeopardy. Episode 2: Lethal Negligence. As the heist continues inside the Royal Mint, tension mounts between the robbers and the hostages. The robbers are methodical, but their personalities begin to clash. Tokyo, who narrates much of the story, struggles with her impulsive nature, while Berlin, the older and more calculating member, takes charge of the operation. Meanwhile, tensions also rise among the hostages, and one of them, Arturo, begins to act as if he's in charge. Outside the mint, the police force, led by Inspector Raquel Murillo, investigates the scene, trying to figure out the robbers' next move. The Professor continues to manipulate the media and law enforcement, making them believe that the heist is being conducted by a larger, more organized group. Inside, the robbers are also faced with internal conflict, leading to difficult decisions. The episode ends with one of the hostages making an escape attempt. Episode 3: The Longest Night. The situation inside the mint grows more intense as the robbers and hostages find themselves locked in a tense standoff. The Professor is still in control of the situation, begins to manipulate the media and police to keep them off balance. The robbers are increasingly under pressure as the police begin to form a strategy to break into the mint. Meanwhile, relationships among the robbers begin to show cracks. Berlin's leadership is challenged, and Tokyo's unpredictability threatens the smooth operation. Outside the mint, Raquel and her team continue to try and break the case, with the Professor's cryptic moves causing frustration. The robbers move forward with their plan to print the money, but their operations are complicated by the growing hostility inside the mint. As the tension builds, one of the hostages makes a shocking move, increasing the stakes for everyone involved. Episode 4: The Eclipse. In Episode 4, tensions inside the Royal Mint of Spain reach new heights. With the heist in full swing, the robbers are forced to improvise when a critical mistake happens. Tokyo's emotional instability leads to a violent confrontation with one of the hostages, putting the entire operation at risk. Meanwhile, the Professor remains calm and continues to guide the robbers through the chaos, manipulating the media and law enforcement with skillful precision. Outside, Raquel begins to suspect that something is amiss with the investigation. As the robbers are faced with internal disputes, the stakes are raised when an unexpected betrayal threatens to derail their plans. Meanwhile, we learn more about the robbers' backstories, which helps explain their motivations for participating in the heist. The episode ends with a dangerous turn of events, as one of the robbers faces a potentially fatal situation. Episode 5: The Professor's Gambit. As the heist reaches its midpoint, the tension between the robbers and hostages escalates. Inside the mint, the robbers continue to work toward their ultimate goal: printing the money. However, with trust issues rising among the team, Berlin's leadership is questioned. He has a confrontational exchange with Tokyo, and their growing animosity becomes a critical issue for the team. Meanwhile, outside the mint, Raquel Murillo faces increasing pressure from her superiors to take decisive action. She begins to suspect the Professor's involvement and starts digging deeper into his background. The episode explores the robbers' personalities in more detail, giving us insights into their pasts and what brought them to this point. The Professor, meanwhile, continues his carefully calculated plan, playing the police like chess pieces. The tension between law enforcement and the robbers builds, setting up for a thrilling cliffhanger. Episode 6: Breaking Point. In Episode 6, the pressure mounts as both the robbers and the hostages become more desperate. The robbers are still holding the Royal Mint, but the internal dynamics of the group are becoming strained. Tokyo's impulsive behavior and Berlin's iron fist leadership create cracks in the operation. The robbers must deal with their growing anxiety and emotional instability while trying to maintain control of the situation. Meanwhile, the police are closing in on the mint, and Raquel is more determined than ever to catch the mastermind behind the operation. The professor, however, continues to stay one step ahead, manipulating the police through strategic moves. Inside the mint, the situation becomes increasingly dangerous, with one of the robbers critically injured. This sets the stage for more tense confrontations, as both sides prepare for a dramatic showdown. The episode ends with a shocking revelation that leaves viewers on edge. Episode 7, The Great Escape. With the heist nearing its conclusion, Episode 7 delves deeper into the emotions and motivations of the characters. Inside the Royal Mint, the robbers face even more challenges, with betrayals and unexpected obstacles arising. Tensions reach a boiling point when the robbers have to make a split-second decision that could mean the difference between success and failure. Berlin continues to assert his dominance over the team, but Tokyo's rebellious streak puts the entire mission in jeopardy. Meanwhile, the hostages, who are beginning to form alliances among themselves, plot an escape. The professor, still orchestrating the entire event from a hidden location, continues to manipulate law enforcement and the media. Raquel, becoming more obsessed with catching the mastermind, starts to unravel the professor's web of deception. The episode is filled with action, emotional twists, and deepening character development, leading to a suspenseful cliffhanger. Episode 8, Collateral Damage. In Episode 8, the stakes are raised as the robbers face the consequences of their actions. Inside the Royal Mint, the robbers have almost completed their task, but unexpected developments put everything on the line. Berlin's leadership becomes more questioned, while Tokyo struggles to maintain control of her emotions. The hostages, too, are beginning to lose hope and are pushed to their limits. Tensions boil over, leading to violent confrontations and a shocking betrayal. Meanwhile, the professor's carefully constructed plan begins to fall apart as law enforcement gets closer to identifying him. Raquel, who is becoming more obsessed with the case, begins to uncover key details that point toward the mastermind's involvement. The episode ends with a shocking twist that changes the course of the heist, leaving both the robbers and the police facing unexpected consequences. Episode 9, The Edge of Failure. Episode 9 focuses on the high-stakes game of cat and mouse between the robbers and the police. As the heist progresses, the robbers are faced with more obstacles, both from within their own ranks and from the law enforcement closing in. The tension between Tokyo and Berlin reaches a boiling point, and the team struggles to maintain unity. Meanwhile, the professor continues to outsmart the police with his intricate plans, but even he is starting to feel the pressure. Raquel, now deeply invested in the case, gets closer to uncovering the true identity of the mastermind. Inside the mint, the robbers are forced into a critical situation where they must decide whether to trust each other or risk the entire heist falling apart. The episode builds toward a thrilling conclusion, with a cliffhanger that leaves viewers on the edge of their seats. Episode 10, The Price of Freedom. In the Season 1 finale, Episode 10 brings the heist to its dramatic conclusion. The tension between the robbers reaches its peak as they face off against both the hostages and the increasingly aggressive police forces outside. The robbers are now in a race against time to finish printing the money and escape without getting caught. Berlin, Tokyo, and the others must overcome their personal differences and find a way to work together if they hope to pull off the impossible. Meanwhile, the professor's carefully calculated plan begins to unravel as Raquel makes a breakthrough in her investigation. The episode concludes with a heart-pounding series of twists, betrayals, and shocking developments that leave viewers questioning the true motives of the characters. In the end, the robbers face the ultimate test of loyalty, survival, and whether they can make it out of the Royal Mint alive.